know where you're from and just be realistic about it. We're in Chilliwack. We are known for corn. We are known for our agriculture. We're known for small businesses. We're not Toronto, we're not LA, we're not Vancouver. So embrace the fact of where we are and what we're doing. And not just Chilliwack, but if it's small business marketing. You're in Golden, BC, don't try and pull stuff off as if you're in Calgary, because you're not. Your audience isn't in Calgary, you are in Golden.
So welcome to Launch Stories, everybody. We're all about connecting and educating entrepreneurs. Studio C at Cowork Chilliwack is located in the traditional and unceded territory of the Stalo people. We are thankful to be able to live, work, and create in this beautiful area. Thanks to our sponsors for helping us put these monthly events on, the Chilliwack Economic Partners, the Chilliwack Innovation Network, and the Chilliwack Chamber of Commerce. Let's hear it for these folks. And thanks to our partners for organizing Launch Stories every month, getting food and guests and our featured speaker, Cowork Chilliwack, Currency Marketing, and Zynum Ventures. And special thanks to, yes, and a nice clap for them. And special thanks to Aidan McAlpine for running all of the AV equipment. He's up here. There he is. Perfect. For running all the AV equipment and recording the show tonight. And with that, today we're talking about solo entrepreneurship, being a working creative, and supporting small businesses with Matthew Hawkins. Let's begin with a project of Matt's that took 3 years to create. It'll only take 1 year to play back. Welcome to Matt Hawkins.
Thanks, Tim.
Absolutely.
It's a big step now.
Yes.
Or 2 little ones.
Exactly. First of all, tell us how you made that video.
A lot of worry and stress, because that started with the camera on Fuel Motorsports, and was concerned all the time. It wasn't that hard to get up there, so worried that people would walk up and steal my camera. But it looked like a security camera, so that made it nice. And had to figure out how to set up a time lapse. I'd never done one before, especially one that was going to last over 3 years. So just having to search how to do it. And the first thing that I had to make was a stand, because they wouldn't let me mount something on the ceiling permanently. So I got an old tire rim, and a metal fence post, and made some quick cement on the roof of Fuel Motorsports and added it to the tire. And yeah, and then it was a matter of setting up a second camera and then internal cameras that kept getting stolen by the construction workers inside. And yeah, so it was just a ongoing thing to keep stressing and worrying about, but it worked, so.
Well, let's go back to the beginning here. And I
April
was shocked.
29th, 1980.
Okay. Okay, so that's easy to keep track of how old you are.
Most days.
Yeah.
Most days. Yeah.
So 2030 is a big year.
Yeah. Bandit Dunes is what's going to happen then. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I was shocked to learn that you had a church background and you were a pastor.
Yes. Yes, I have my Bachelor of Arts in Pastoral Theology and was involved in, when I say the church, it was a few different churches over 13 years, and was a youth pastor for a number of years and a media pastor for a number more after that. And then.
So the jump from was pastor to media pastor, was that a transition, or were you doing both at the same time?
When I was a youth pastor, I was getting into a lot of video production, making stuff with the youth ministry, the kids. We'd make a DVD at the end of the year. Instead of having a yearbook, we had a DVD that we would sell. So I was just learning the hard way through Adobe Creative Suite how to make things.
And had you made videos before, or were you just sort of thrown into it with that?
The first video I ever made was with a Canon PowerShot. And you could only record 30 seconds at a time. And I look back at that first video. I probably have purposely lost it since, but it was awful. It was so long. It was so boring. It was painful for me to watch, let alone the fact that I asked other people to watch it. So I just started messing around with it and loved it. I always wanted to, ever since I was a kid, was make videos.
So you and I have some history.
What are we, around 15 years?
More than that, actually. I remember you sauntering into our marketing agency at the time and saying, I make videos, how can I help? And that would have been in 2009, about 17 years ago.
Yeah.
So you would have been mid-20s? No, mid...
You can do it. 29, 30.
29, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was right.
Overconfident, we're selling it, and I was, well, we could kind of do some video ourselves, but you were tenacious, and we were doing a marketing program for credit unions at the time called Young and Free. It was really much a precursor to what influencer marketing is. We hired these individuals in markets all over Canada and the US. And then when we had 6 or 7 of these programs going at once, we started doing something called the Living Young and Free Show. And you produced that with our spokesters.
Yeah.
They did segments, you put it together, and it still lives on YouTube.
From all over Canada and the US. Yeah.
And so that was serendipity. I thought that, hey, I know this Matt guy, he might be able to help us with this. And so we started doing on and off projects from there, and it actually went from there. We worked with a company called the Filene Research Institute in Madison, Wisconsin. I was hired to do documentary filmmaking for these innovation labs that they would do across Canada. And I counted it up. From what I can remember, we went to Washington, D.C., New Orleans, Boulder, Colorado, Quebec City, Newport Beach, California, and Madison, Wisconsin. I think I'm missing a couple.
Nashville.
Nashville, yeah.
And Austin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me about that project.
That was kind of threw you and I right into the deep end together, because we both didn't quite know what to expect that first trip to Washington, D.C., what we were going to do. And I felt like we found our groove as it went along, just interviewing all these people from credit unions all over North America. But yeah, between Filene and doing Young and Free, I felt like I learned a lot about credit unions that most people don't know.
Yeah. I've got a short teaser clip, and I cut it in half. It's about a minute of when we went to, I think, the last one, which is Newport Beach, California.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I've probably knocked the volume down on the entire production now, but we'll see.
All right.
I3 is collaborative innovation program at Filene, where we take the best, brightest, most creative critical thinkers in the credit union movement, and we have them volunteer 2 years of their time to tackle some of the biggest challenges that credit unions face, some of the biggest problems that the consumers face in the finance world, and then develop solutions that help solve those problems.
I think I3 pushes you outside of your comfort zone and helps you rediscover these things that you haven't thought of, and it makes you think about things in a new way.
I'm just blown away, and I'm excited. I'm thankful to be part of this, to be honest with you. I feel like I'm in an elite group, and it's pushing me to hang with all of these people. I love it. I'm growing tremendously, honestly.
I remember you traded in your high-end camcorder at the time for a Canon DSLR.
Yeah.
And it was pretty new to be using that as a cinematic style camera.
Yeah, the Canon 7D.
Yeah, and it gave a real sense of a cinematic look on a basically an SLR camera. Mm-hmm. And you were an early adopter of that, and it really, I thought you were able to do some really amazing work with that.
Thanks, yeah. It was fun. It's funny watching that now because it's just how much I've learned on the interview storytelling. Like, I think that's probably one of my stronger suits that I'm known for, so yeah.
So even before that, you started something called FilmAds, and tell us what it is.
FilmAds, I work with independently owned movie theaters across Canada, from here to Gander, Newfoundland. Started off with Cottonwood here in Chilliwack when Karen Bondar was running it, so just went to go see a movie, and there was nothing on screen, and there was no sound, and I just thought that I should put my work up there so other people can see it, not really thinking a revenue model through at the time. And then 2 weeks later, met up with Karen, and she's right away, okay, let's do it. And that's how it started. And then the manager for the Salmon Arm Theater was coming through town, saw a movie, and he thought it was great, and asked me to come up to Salmon Arm. Went up to Salmon Arm, saw the movie Up before it even was released to theaters. They got it like 2 weeks early for some reason, and it was one of the first like Disney movies that was in 3D. So it was kind of a big deal to go and see that. And
so you're doing pre-show with local ads, essentially.
Yeah, like the first pre-shows that I was making for the theater was like, it was something that was around maybe 3 or 4 minutes long that would play on a loop. So it would have like trivia and like some little entertainment clips and stuff. 3 or 4 minutes when you're waiting for a movie to start in 20 minutes plays multiple times. So you're seeing the same thing again and again and again. So it was pretty bad. So I learned very quickly that I needed to be creating more content or getting more ads. So that's what I started doing, was just creating these pre-shows that started before a movie started, and started working with Salmon Arm, and Sean Greek was the manager. He started getting me in touch with pretty much every theater owner in BC and Alberta at the time. And that just expanded, like it just blew up. So.
Yeah, and so we're familiar with the inundated ads that we see at a Cineplex, but on an independent film or cinema, they didn't really have that capability. And so how would you deliver your material?
Yeah.
Was it a slow internet connection, or?
No, back in the day, it was DVD releases and mailing them out. So they'd have a separate projector from the theater projector that was hooked up to a DVD or Blu-ray player, and they would run it that way. So I'd have to make sure my shipping deadline had to be on time because it had to get there for the upcoming Friday. So I was shipping these DVDs across Western Canada.
And who was responsible for selling the ads? Was it the independent theater, or were you out there selling local ads in those communities?
So to start, it was me. I was still working at the church at the time, doing the media stuff. And I would work Tuesday to Friday. Well, sorry. It'd be Sunday to Thursday. I don't know if you know this, in church, Sunday is kind of a big day. So
I've heard that.
Yeah. I'd work till Thursday at 5 o'clock, hop in my car, and I would drive up to Salmon Arm with these pamphlets that I'd have printed off and just start going door to door. So Friday morning, I'd be in Salmon Arm. Friday afternoon, I'd be in Revelstoke, and then by Friday evening, I'd be in Golden. And then on Saturday, work my way down to Trail, and then head home for Saturday evening so I could help with setup for church for Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's times of sleeping in my car, sleeping at campsites, because I was broke. I worked for a church. I don't know if you know this, but you don't make a lot of money when you work for a church. And I'd play games on road trips where I'd buy like a small bag of apples and just see if I could live off of that for 3 days. And I made it a game though, because it was easier, it was more fun. Yeah.
Winning.
Yeah, the big win would be like going through the McDonald's drive-through for a cheeseburger. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
How long did you do that treadmill?
I went full-time in 2010 with FilmAds. Probably a year and a half, maybe a little bit more.
And how did the business model evolve?
So it started off just myself doing that door-to-door sales. And then I reached out to Cineplex Media through Twitter, when Twitter was like just kind of coming on. And I don't know why, but the one guy that was in charge of marketing for Cineplex Media decided that, hey, this guy keeps messaging us, I'm gonna get his number. And so I was hopping out of the shower, my phone went off, and it was Cineplex Media.
That's the same way you got a job from me.
Oh, is it? I was hopping out of the shower?
No. Like just tenacious, checking in, saying, hey, do you have any work? Do you have any work?
Yeah. I
Not the shower thing.
no. There's times when I can just get very stubborn and have a direction and just don't give up on it. So
what was your pitch to Cineplex?
I've gathered all these independent movie theaters together. I know that you don't want to work with them individually, but if I'm gathering them together and you send us ads for national and provincial, I can take care of making sure they play it, distribute it, do all that. And you guys can just do like a BC sell, Alberta sell, Western Canada sell, because that's just where I was at that time. And so next phone call I got was from Robert, who at the time was the vice president of Cineplex Media. And he said, yeah, as long as we don't have to deal with individual theaters, we want to deal with you and you deal with all of them. And so Cineplex Media I've been working with them ever since 2010.
Wow, and you've got another partner called Real Deals.
Yeah, so they came on a couple years later. They do a very similar thing as what I do, working with independent movie theaters. They're just a lot better with local sales. And so Real Deal Media, they came in to help sell in locations that I was struggling to sell in. So they just send me the ads and send me the paychecks, and it just gets distributed out.
And I know you to be an absolute movie buff and a strong advocate for independent cinema. Even when we would be doing our thing, I remember being in Colorado and you made sure that we went to some independent theaters and started chatting the folks up. And
yeah, there was that little one that had like a castle tower on it. I remember that. But then the best movie theater I think I've ever been to, maybe you as well, was in Austin.
Yes, the Alamo Drafthouse.
Yes, which is sadly no longer there.
Yes.
And at the time was one of the oldest movie theaters.
Do you know what it is now?
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan bought it, and it's the comedy mothership.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And they do, the Kill Tony.
Yeah.
It's done in that theater we were in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember we went and saw Back to the Future on the original 35 millimeter print there. And that was pretty cool to see. You get to see all the scratches and wear and tear on the film. So, yeah.
So it's a going concern, and you're still a one-man band with it, and you've really carved out an ongoing revenue
I am a
source.
one-man band, but not really.
Yeah.
I've got multiple revenue sources coming in with it.
And are you doing as much content creation to feed that these days, or how does that look on screen?
Yeah. Every final week of the month is a busy week for me. Just making the entertainment, putting clips together, adding any new local businesses that are on there. If Real Deal has something to send me, I have to add it on there. So pre-shows go out at the end of the month into a Dropbox folder. And
You're not doing DVDs anymore?
No, thankfully. And then some theaters request DCPs, digital cinema packages. So it takes like a 22-minute pre-show that's an MP4 format, And then I have a program to create it into a DCP, which turns this like 2 gig file into like a 25 gig file. And I have to upload that. And it's, yeah, every now and then when I call Shaw, they go, "You upload a lot of data. What are you doing over there?" So, because I've got 14 theaters that I'm uploading pre-shows for,
Yeah.
4 of them that want DCPs, so.
You talked to me about, you mentioned it, Small Town Love.
Yes.
This initiative, what is it and why did it impact you?
So I was working with the theater in Quesnel, the Carib Theater at the time, and was doing my door-to-door sales, one of the towns that I did my Apple bag thing. And I found somebody on Google that was doing local marketing, specifically Quesnel local marketing, and her name was Amy Quarry. And met up with Amy 1 year, and then the next year she started this initiative, which was, she had a book that had pictures, professional photos, and write-ups of local businesses. And they had to meet certain specifications. It couldn't be a chain, had to be started by so-and-so, like it had to be a specific local business. And then at the back was a coupon book. And so you could keep the book and then use the coupons. And I just loved what she was doing and asked her for a couple books just because I thought, I'm doing all this stuff all across Western Canada, but I'm not really doing anything in Chilliwack. And I'd love to be able to do something in Chilliwack. And it sat on my desk for a long time, just looking at it. But Amy ended up growing it and selling it to a couple places. She did it all over northern BC. And yeah, it was just something that I was very inspired by.
So it was an early inspiration for Around Chilliwack, or what it may have become.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get to that. But somewhere along the way, you got into podcasting. First
Yes.
with something called The Fishing Guys, and
Yes.
I remember this.
Yeah. Left the church and was going full time and was actually making money. And I decided I needed a hobby that I could teach my kids. And I just decided it was going to be fishing. And I remember those first few times taking my boys out to go fishing, and we, they get soaked. They were little, like 4 and 6 years old, getting soaking wet and crying and just trying to feed them snacks so they're happy. And even my 18-year-old now, he's like, "Dad, remember when you took us fishing?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "The best part was when we get snacks." so it made an impact. But yeah, I wanted to do something outside of work, but still using my creative talents and this new passion that I had, which was fishing. And I was listening to a lot of Kevin Smith at the time, director of Clerks, and he had a whole network called Smodcast, which was a bunch of different podcasts. Podcasts were becoming more popular, but it was still kind of fringy. It's not like now where everyone and their dog has a podcast. So I was like, I could set up a podcast and do this, talk about fishing. Like, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I'll bring people on that do. And so we just started podcasting. And
Yeah, you had some video components to it as well, I recall.
yeah, we would do gear reviews and
Right.
like apparel reviews.
And you were getting like sponsor swag and doing pretty good with it.
We were getting like high-end stuff, because people weren't really doing this back then. They weren't like the influencer of stuff. And so we had our YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook, and we'd just have fun with it. And we had a growing audience. The coolest story I think out of Fishing Guys was a buddy of mine that was a part of it, Jeff, one of the fishing guys. He was up in this river, like northern Vancouver Island, like out there. I don't know if you've been at the tip of northern Vancouver Island, but there's not a lot up there. You just went out to go fishing, and some random guy is there too. And they get talking, and the guy keeps looking at him weird, and Jeff's like, "Do I know you?" And he's like, "Oh, I know you. You're Jeff from Fishing Guys." So just this random guy out there. So that was pretty cool to hear.
How long did you do it for?
A few years, yeah. We had people commenting from like Chicago and Nashville and Florida. Like we're growing a reach. Like it was.
I was trying to
doing
do
well.
some searching on it, and you did a pretty good job of erasing it from the internet.
Yeah, I kind of got rid of it. Even digging up this logo was hard to find. So
So why not go with it? Was it? What drew it to a close?
It was just before we went to New Orleans. I remember it.
Okay.
Because we had a guy that was a part of it that had a bit of a falling out, and he wanted to do something, and we didn't want to. And
did you take him out on the river and push him over to the side of the boat?
no, but there's another story that I'll save for another day.
Fair enough.
But there was no pushing of any kind.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
no, I like the way you've started things, and when they reach their course, put them aside and trying something new, right? And so this led, that podcast experience, you had set up a nice studio in your basement.
yeah, I love podcasting.
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
And you started something called Around Town in Chilliwack.
Which you were one of the very first sponsors of.
That's right.
Yeah, you and Ron Laser. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Fishing Guys was done. I still had all this podcasting equipment. I love podcasting. One of the things that I learned probably through Fishing Guys was you get a beer, you sit down with a friend, a guest, and you have a beer with them, and you just talk. There's no agenda. There is no set of questions. And that's kind of carried over through a lot of what I do for stuff like this, including SIF. But I wanted to keep doing it, and I started working with John Martin, who was our MLA at the time, and was being forced to network with people, because that's one of the things that probably my social anxieties that I have is I'm okay sitting up here, but if I have to go and sit there with you guys, it's like, this is no bueno.
Got it.
So to have people in my studio and interview them and podcast them, I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I did 2 seasons of that. I think 8 episodes for each season. Yeah, we had some cool guests for that.
And then somewhere along the line, you dropped the town in and became Around Chilliwack.
And why is that, Tim?
I'm not sure. Why is that, Matt?
The URL at the time, and still is aroundchilliwack.ca. And Tim just said to me, he's like, why not get rid of the town? Because you already have aroundchilliwack.ca. Just call it Around Chilliwack. So Tim is the reason for the name Around Chilliwack.
There you go.
Yeah. And the microphone
decision, right?
microphone in the middle is because of the podcast.
Yeah. And so that went on. You had some notable guests from around town, some former mayors, and quite a few. And even did some here. COVID had a number on you then. A number on everybody, right? But I remember you had in some local healthcare workers and had some social distancing, them set way back. And actually, it's a glimpse at before we expanded the control room, we used to have all the stuff in the back corner here. And but yeah, again, you did it for quite a bit, kind of before many people were doing podcasting. I think we did the first live podcast recording here. Yes.
With Jason, Ken, and Sarah DeZayman.
Yes.
Yeah.
For those who
Tucked
know
in
the
corner.
first name basis, that's the mayor, a councillor, and
future mayor, hopefully.
Mayor, yeah. But going back to your small town love, I think you saw an opportunity and expanded what would become Around Chilliwack. Tell us what it is today.
Yeah, so through the podcast I was doing, one of the questions that I kept asking my guests were, where's your favorite place to have lunch in Chilliwack? And people have different answers, and I started looking up, like, where's the best place to eat in Chilliwack? Looking for things to do in Chilliwack, and realized that there's a spot for creating a website and social media presence to highlight not just Chilliwack, but the local businesses in Chilliwack. And so I started working on creating this website and creating a lot of free content to grow an audience and get the word out that Chilliwack has more to it than the highway and corn.
So right now it's kind of broken down into where to eat, what to do, and where to shop.
This is obviously a fresh screenshot of the website because I just put that up last night.
I saw that, yeah. This is a fresh presentation put together this afternoon.
Yes.
So what's the business model? Like, how does it work? Is it making some money?
It is slowly. It started off, like I said, doing things for free, looking for sponsors. It did pop up last night in our update on Instagram. 384 weeks of consistent content. So every week for 384 weeks, we have posted on Instagram and Facebook.
So there's the website, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Is relatively new.
Yeah.
Where's the traffic? How do they compare?
Yeah, that's a good question. They're all seem to be different audiences. So the website has its own traffic. We're anywhere between 5,000, 6,000 unique visitors a month. Facebook, we have just over 11,000 followers. That seems to be the 40, 50 plus range, mostly female. Instagram, we're 10,300 something right now, and it seems to be a much younger audience. And then TikTok, I don't totally know. We get some interesting comments on TikTok, so I wonder who the audience is there. But for the most part, like more of a conservative, quiet audience. Yeah.
And you've done some initiatives, one of them being Dine Out Chilliwack. You partnered with Tourism Chilliwack. How have partnerships gone in that regard? Yeah,
Dine Out Chilliwack. This was, I don't know if you recognize those dates at all, but something happened significant after March 8th.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, we did that for a couple years with Tourism Chilliwack, and they decided that they wanted to go do their own thing. Which reminds me to say, people think that Around Chilliwack is like a city initiative or a government initiative, or like that we're getting some sort of organizational help from behind. So I started it myself with posting content consistently, and then started working with Magnolia Clothing. And one of the persons that worked there was Jenna. And her and I had a lot of fun making content for Magnolia. And she had a lot of questions about photography. And
perfect segue.
Yes, there's Jenna modeling, as she gets known as the Magnolia Girl, still to this day. And how long's it been?
It's been 2 years at least, and even then it was only I was there once a month or something.
Yeah.
So with Jenna's help, you've taken stuff to the next level, just more and consistent. And
Jenna sometimes is the foot to my ass that I need sometimes. She's really good about trying new things and pushing things. So Jenna posts our Wednesday posts, which is our weekend happenings, what's coming up and what's going on around Chilliwack. And then she does our Friday reels. So if you see a reel on Friday that typically has a fair number of views, that's Jenna. So her creative eye that she likes to hide behind the camera like I do and just showcase Chilliwack. So Jenna was like that first push to the better direction. It took a little while. Sometimes, like I said, I get a little stubborn on things. And then I met up with Nicole Reed about 1.5 years ago from Community Futures. And that was the next kick where Nicole asked what our model was, how we're making money. And I showed her everything and how much we were doing for free. And her first thing was, you're not doing that anymore. You're not a free agency. If people want to be on, you have a big enough platform that if they want to be on there, they can pay to be on there. And so that's where my struggle is now, is just trying to find people, find businesses that want to pay to be on there and use the platform that we've been working so hard on. So that's where our funding comes from, is local content.
And I know, are there any other mentors along the way that have influenced you with this? I imagine you talked about the small town love. That would be an inspiration.
Yeah, Amy Quarry. Yeah. Oh, well, even just, I used to have an office here in Cowork. I don't know how many times you and I did you got a minute? Right. Which turns into like 15, 20. And then just all of the trips that we went on. Yeah. Just seeing these different, credit unions trying to find a way to create more revenue and more insight and knowledge into credit unions and financial education. So yeah. But are you wanting me to get to this? Is that what you're?
No, not just yet. Not just yet. I know at your core you're a filmmaker, but I imagine with Around Chilliwack, it forced you to become a better photographer.
Yeah, I still wanted to make video, but it just took so much more work to create video than it did photos. And my photos sucked. And so I would be posting stuff and not happy with it. So a friend of mine, Darren McDonald, who used to work for Chilliwack Times and UFE and Abbey News, fantastic photographer. I took Kevin Smith's advice, where you find someone that you admire and then copy them. And so I learned from Darren how to take better photos, and just really started to focus on that, because I could take more, I could get more done in less amount of time and get more stuff online.
And how would you describe your photographic style? Like, what are you looking for?
Dirty. Yeah. I always try and dirty the frame is what I call it. Try and find something where you're looking at it from a unique perspective. So like, you've got my daughter's hair in the bottom left there, and just looking over this guy's shoulder. Like, how many people do you know is going to stand right over that guy and look at those wings and beer like that? So for him, it was probably awkward that my camera's right next to him, but yeah.
And you've had a chance to now photograph a number of quite notable people. For instance, Nick Taylor.
Yeah.
And he has an annual, for those that aren't golf fans, Nick is one of the best Canadian golfers of all time. He won the Canadian Open a couple years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
Is consistently on the leaderboard if you're watching on the weekend PGA and so forth. But he has a local charity tournament at the Cultus Lake Golf Club.
Yeah, every September. So I've been there the last 3 years, 2 years where I was basically Nick's shadow. So this is hole number 12 at Cultus Lake. I don't know if you're not familiar with it. It's a par 4 that has a really big pond in front of it. And if you're a good shot, like say a PGA player, you could hit the green in one shot, which gives you a chance to score well on that hole. And so people would pay Nick, because it's a charity, they'd pay Nick to take their shots for him. And so I had a really long throw lens that day, and Nick's at the very back of the tee box, and then at the front of the tee box, it kind of sloped down. And so I just asked Nick, if I go and lay down at the front of that tee box and shoot back toward you, like, are you okay with that? He's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, and I'm going to be taking a lot of pictures. He's like, oh, totally, yeah. So.
Now, he's playing something that looks more like a 6-iron, whereas if I was trying that shot, it would definitely be my driver.
It was a hybrid. He was using a hybrid.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and this is the Netflix crew that came out to film him that year from the show Full Swing. So that was kind of cool to see them in action.
And I thought this was a really nice close-up. Just, I feel your candid people shots are really strong.
Thank you, yeah. Again, like I'm shooting through the golf cart. Yeah.
And you've done a fair amount of sports, and just capturing that, and that in itself is a skill.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
If you've ever tried to take sports photos, they don't look like that.
Well, yeah, you can't. It's not like you can go, okay, can we do that again? Like, let's reset that. Like, you get one chance at it, and that's it.
Your videos also, I've worked with you over the years, and they've progressed. And have you accepted that sometimes you have to do vertical videos at this point? Most cinematographers have a real disdain for it.
I do have a disdain for it, but Jenna and I are working on a contract right now that we have to shoot both horizontal and vertical. So I asked Jenna to come in with her camera so she can shoot vertical. Because yeah.
And I imagine you're probably using the phone more than you ever were.
Every Monday with Matthew.
Okay.
Yeah, set it up on my desk in my office and shoot vertical and yeah.
So you sent me a cinematic movie of a rainy day in Chilliwack.
Oh yeah, this is
why?
It was content.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a really rainy day, and this is downtown Chilliwack before we had murals and District 1881, and
it's a neat video. I'll play it. And Aiden, if you want to crank the volume on this. the underlying theme of all your career seems to be working with local small businesses and providing channels and support for growing local economies, if I were to have a through line of what you do.
Yeah.
And which leads us to today, you're launching a book. But before we go there, let's first start by letting folks know that you are a hardcore golfer. This may explain your inspiration for the style of book, but how many rounds a year?
No comment.
Okay.
Usually good for one on the weekend, sometimes one during the week.
And what's your current handicap?
Current handicap is 6.
What's the lowest you've ever been?
3.6.
Okay, so there's a guy that's golfing a lot, and you've managed to strike a work-life balance with these multiple initiatives, but also, and being a very active parent and so forth. But I often see you going to the golf course, and I think you've been able to drag me out once in the last 5 years.
Once,
so.
yeah. Hopefully again.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
So that brings us to Harvey Penick's Little Red Book, Lessons and Teachings from a Lifetime in Golf. Tell us about this book.
Are you able to go back to that photo of Nick Taylor with the group behind him?
Sure.
So in that photo is Chris Bertram, Dr. Chris Bertram, who is basically like the head doctor for Nick Taylor and other PGA players. Joel Damon is another one. Joel Damon was a big star on Full Swing. And then Chris also works with a number of snowboarders and Olympic athletes. And so I bumped into Chris.
So when you say head doctor, you don't mean like the top doctor, you mean
head
doctor.
Because golf is a head game.
Right.
You're out there by yourself. You're the only one that's in control of what you're doing. You can take advice from other people, but at the end of the day, it's what's going through your head. So I bumped into Chris at the Cultus Lake driving range and asked him for some good books on what to read, and so he recommended The Little Red Book. Harvey Penick was a golf coach that just had a little red book that he would leave notes in. And when he passed away, his kids decided that everybody needed to read the advice that was in this book. And so I read it in an afternoon because it's just short, to the point, and I love the style of it. And again, it's like that Small Town Love book that I had, just sat on my desk wondering, what am I going to do with this? At the same time, Chris also recommended some books from Dr. Bob Rotella, who's also another head doctor in the golf world, and learned some good lessons from that, which basically, when I asked Nick about Bob Rotella, Nick Taylor had gone to see him, I said, it seems like really simple advice that Bob gives. He's like, yeah, it is, until you spend a weekend with Bob, and then he breaks down the two things. And it would basically be present, be in the moment, and then the second thing is trust the process. And so Nick was saying, it sounds very simple, but then you get into what that actually means. So between this and Dr. Bob, some inspiration.
And so you've been talking about a book for probably the last year or so, and writing some...
To be honest, I've been talking about a book, writing a book for too long. Yeah.
And so I said, well, why don't you launch your book at Launch Stories? And so give you a bit of fire under your...
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So you got it together. And you're launching it today. The Long Way Works, Notes on Small Business Marketing. What's the thesis?
Well, the title itself is one of my favorite... it was before reality TV was really it's kind of becoming a thing, but The Long Way Round with Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman, where they hop on motorbikes in London.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they want to go from London to New York, but take the long way. And so it was like an 8 or 9 part series of them traveling across the world. And so that was just a little nod, the title. Basically, I have these notebooks that I keep all my to-do list in, notes to the kids to make sure that they vacuum or put their laundry away. I've got deadlines in there. Sometimes you'll see grocery lists in there, meal lists for when I have my kids. and then you'll see random notes. Sometimes I write the notes cryptically, thinking I'll go back to that and remember what it says, but then I don't. Other times I just have little notes of like, this worked. We tried this post, it worked really well. This worked on a sales call. I told them that this is what we should do, and they actually listened to me. So stuff like that. So I have years of these notebooks.
So did you just scan the pages and that's what we get? Or did you?
No, I didn't do any sort of digitizing at all because I still like to handwrite things. I just started to compile it and try and figure out an order for how to share. I wanted to share it in the same way this book is written.
Got it.
Short, simple sentences.
Well, I've included the table of contents, and I thought we could maybe talk about a few of these. Roots and reality. What are you talking about there?
Know where you're from, and just be realistic about it. We're in Chilliwack. We are known for corn. We are known for our agriculture. We're known for small businesses. We're not Toronto, we're not LA, we're not Vancouver. So embrace the fact of where we are and what we're doing. And not just Chilliwack, but it's small business marketing. You're in Golden, BC, don't try and pull stuff off as if you're in Calgary, because you're not. Your audience isn't in Calgary, you are in Golden.
So you've been incredibly consistent with social media posts, and they're always interesting and different perspective. What are you seeing out there that people are doing wrong? Or in your mind, to be doing better?
Stop dancing. Like, there is a place for it. And maybe there is with your audience from time to time. But I think people want to see you. They want to know your voice. They want to see your face. Jenna, again, one of those kicks was like, you need to put your face on Around Chilliwack. I was hesitant for the longest time, pretty much most of the time that Jenna and I have worked together up until this last January. So put your face on it. Be authentic. Use your real voice. Don't use your fake voice. And then post content that connects with your audience. Like, every business should know who their audience is. Like, when you're asking me about Around Chilliwack's audience, I know that we've got 4 different audiences, but they're all somewhat similar in the fact that I can't get on there and start cursing my head off because I'll probably lose half the audience in a heartbeat because, one, that's just not what I built, and that's not what they expect. So know who your audience is and appeal to that.
What about all of the TikTok trends and reels? Do you think people should be jumping on that?
If that's who your audience is and that's what they enjoy, sure. But if all you're doing it's just going to be a flash in the pan. It's going to get drowned out by everybody else trying to do it. But if you're an influencer with like 1-2 million people that follow you, yeah, maybe that's the right fit. But if for a small business, I don't think it is.
Is there a local small business that's caught your eye that's doing it well?
Yeah, now you really throw me on the spot. I've been a fan of them since the beginning. I'm not a fan of the name change, but Gunther's Deli, Multipack was their name before. They just stick with who they are and what they do. They do catering of charcuterie boards. They do fresh smoked and cured meats. Almost everything is made in-house there. I appreciate that. Just Peachy is one of those ones that I give an exception about, like the TikTok trend stuff. They have fun with it, but that's who their audience is. So they do well with it. I'm a big fan of Megan from the local space. She knows who her audience is, and they have fun with it too. But she also knows that she's got to put other stuff out there to. I think I called her disheveled in this book, by the way. So, yeah, because she pops on at like 6 a.m. doing a story. Her hair is everywhere. She just woke up. Her kid's climbing on the wall behind her, but she's sharing about her business. So.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Got it out the door. It is currently on aroundchilliwack.com, soon to be on
.ca.
.ca. We'll fix that. If I just sort of put a line right there, .ca. Whoops. Does aroundchilliwack.com redirect?
No.
It doesn't. Okay. Well, it
Proudly
should.
Canadian.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm going to buy aroundchilliwack.com. Anyways, aroundchilliwack.ca, and you have a special coupon code.
Yeah, so if you go on and buy it now until Friday, $5 off with the launch code or the code launch. So yeah.
And it's in an EPUB format that you can put on a Kindle and.
I put 2 versions on the EPUB, which saving things for the last minute. I was testing things out last night, trying to make sure everything was good to go. So I did it on my phone. If you have an iPhone, I know it works really well. Jenna got it on her Samsung, yes, but she had to get an EPUB app to read it. So,
okay.
But there's also the PDF version is available on sale as well, or on the store as well.
My goal was to complete it, but as I mentioned, I was doing a PowerPoint presentation
and building a stage.
Exactly. So we both had deadlines and we made it. So let's hear from Matthew Hawkins. We have a microphone just over there. Colin's always good for the first question. I'll put him on the spot.
This is always the most nerve-wracking part.
Thanks so much for sharing. It's just great to hear more about your story. I've been a fan of what you do around Chilliwack and beyond for a long time. So thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
How do you feel about where's the boundary for people who are creating content as the uninspired with AI today that are starting to slowly creep in and eat some of the type of markets that people as yourself have done? So obviously you don't need it. There's people who do need it. Where do you think the audiences over time are going to land?
I wouldn't say that I don't need it. I was just talking with one of my clients about it today, and I said to him, it's still a great starting point. We're human. It's hard to come up with creative ideas all the time. But I think one of the worst things that's happening right now is this copy and paste straight out of whatever AI bot people are using. Whether, like, if you look at posters right now, I just want to toss those things in the garbage. They all look the same. They all look so poorly made. As a graphic designer, I must just want to pull your hair out. So for someone that struggles with creating content, I would say just finding points of inspiration, like that Kevin Smith quote that I talked about. Find something, find someone, an organization that's doing it well, and just start copying what they're doing until you can kind of build up a little momentum and find your own way. And then from there, hopefully, you're starting to create more and more of your own content, and you're not relying on AI or somebody else. But yeah, if you're using AI as a starting point for tips and insights and things that you might not have looked at before, that's great. Otherwise, looking to real life inspiration for what people are doing or organizations and starting to copy them, that's probably, I would give that advice over AI. So but that's the road I've taken. So
I find some solace in OpenAI launched Sora, and it was a whole social app, and it was such hype around it, but it slowly but surely lost the thread, the story, and they ended up shutting it down in short order. And so I think there's a bit of a reaction happening to AI video and imagery especially. But where it lands, it's tough. And especially creatives in general are just feeling really pressured and don't know what's coming.
The big theme through my ebook is the human side of marketing. It's one of the things I've noticed with doing this Mondays with Matthew since end of December, early January. Just going around Chilliwack now and people talking to me that I don't know. It's a little weird. But as Jenna has told me, like putting my face on it, you're leaving a mark. So I'm sure JL, you have the same thing with, I put JL through multiple reels a month creating content for the Cultural Center, and I'm sure he gets recognized around town. So adding that human connection is like, AI can't replace that. Like it's impossible. So, yeah.
Any other questions?
Nice and easy.
Well, I got one more then. I'm shocked Tim didn't ask this question, but what's next? What's next for you?
Oh, that is a good question. I want to see, I have to figure out how to market this ebook. I have no idea what I'm doing. And so as someone that's involved with marketing, this is brand new. And so I'm curious to just go at that and see what that does. I've been doing this theater stuff now for close to 20 years. And I think I was done 4 years ago. But it's such a regular revenue stream for me that I have to keep doing it for now. Around Chilliwack, I remember meeting Jenna a few years ago to talk about working together. And I said to her that, you know, when I get to 10,000 on Instagram, I'll look at selling it. And we got to 10,000 in January. Yeah. We're not selling it. I have my eye set on a few things that kind of keeping my cards close to the chest on that one. But still focusing around Chilliwack and what's going on in this town and how we can promote just the amazing qualities of what we have in this community. So, yeah.
Do you see the potential to do around blank, around Langley, around
let's talk about
Abbotsford?
some of my failures. Did start up around Abbotsford. But my buddy Jeff that was helping with Fishing Guys and also lived in Abbotsford at the time, we just got it going, and then Jeff decided that the family was going to move to Port Hardy, and so around Abbotsford just kind of died off, yeah. And then I did start up around Kelowna, and that didn't last too long.
I would imagine you need a similarly excited and motivated individual to own it in each place.
And someone that wants to get connected in multiple ways.
Yeah.
Like Cowork has been fantastic for me with that, and then being on the creative commission with Chilliwack Economic Partners Corporation has been a vital part. John forced me to have to meet all sorts of people in town. So all of that really helped. And then just the passion that I have for our city. So, yeah.
So I don't think you really answered Colin's question.
I don't know what's next, Colin. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like you're going to lean into the ebook and get eyeballs on that, which is...
Before you print the ebook.
Maybe. I wanted
to... was kind of go to the Bookman and find it.
No, not yet. No. You can find cats, though, at the Bookman. So.
Well, thank you very much, Matt.
Yes,
I appreciate your time, and let's hear from Matt once again.
Thank you.